I will tell you this right from the get-go. Women get psychologically turned off when you do these things. Okay, for those of you who want to maximize your dating life, for those of you who want to make sure that you can attract women on a sexual level, for those of you who want to make sure that the women you go on dates on, it actually turns into something instead of you getting ghosted, you need to listen up. I made this because I know that in the comment section, there's a large majority of men who like bullet points and step-by-step processes. So what I did this morning, okay, was I actually sat down and I thought, what are the biggest mistakes men make? Okay, and how can they actually get ahead in life, and how can they make sure that the women that they want also want them back without getting turned off? And it really boils down to 5 things that almost every single guy does. So do not make these, and I'm going to go into extreme detail to make sure that you never make these ever. Guys in my MBT Inner Circle closed mentorship community, these guys do not make these mistakes. Mark goes, okay guys, I smoothed my way in with a total 10, 5'2", 100 pounds. Used all the tactics Casey laid out, and by God, it effing worked. See, this is why I do this, because for year after year after year, when I watch guys, hundreds or thousands of guys get results like this, there is no better process on the planet than MBT to make sure that your dating dreams actually can come about in real life and actually exist. So check that out below. Every single video I do a celeb spotlight. The very first turnoff when you are with a woman, I don't care if it's on a date, I don't care where the location is, I don't care if it's talking on FaceTime. The first and biggest turnoff that will kill your sexual energy and your seduction is not being relaxed. Okay? Not being relaxed. Say that one more time. Okay? Let this sink in. Not being relaxed. It is impossible to be seductive, okay, if you are not relaxed. Think about this for a second. When you're chill with a girl, imagine, let's say you're with a total dime, right? 10 out of 10 girl, curvy figure, amazing smile, beautiful woman. What that woman's used to when 99% of guys are in her frame, not the other way around, because very rarely does a very hot, sexy woman ever get to enter a masculine man's frame. She's always having men who are bending and breaking to be in her frame. You are getting men who talk at a very fast pace. You're getting men who are extremely nervous. You're getting men who elevate their tone at a higher pitch to sound more pleasing. And what you get is a woman who's completely dry between the legs because these men do not fucking turn her on. I'm going to tell you this. When you're with a woman, here's how you become relaxed 24/7, even if you're nervous. What you have to do is you have to purposefully, and this is only for guys who you struggle with this. Me, naturally, these things are ingrained into who I am. I don't have to think about these. I naturally demonstrate them on a date or when I'm with a woman. But here's what I can tell you. For those of you who maybe you're just starting to date or you're nervous around hot women, what you want to do is talk at a cadence, okay, that's probably 15 to 20% slower. Make sure you take pauses in between certain words potentially as she's looking at you. It will draw an emphasis. It will make it look like you're controlling the frame. And it starts to get to the point where she starts hanging on to your words, especially if you guys are only sitting a foot apart or 2 feet apart, okay? And what you want to do to give this relaxed, seductive vibe is you want to probably, if you're naturally more of a nervous, quick talker, you want to probably talk anywhere from a little bit lower to probably a lot lower, which means breathing into your balls and actually getting centered into your frame. And you want to have a laid back demeanor. Okay? If you have a laid back demeanor, you're purposefully talking at just a little bit slower cadence. It looks like you're dictating the cadence of the date and the cadence of the interaction, and that's going to turn a woman on. Nothing turns a woman on than a man who's in control. Okay? And you being in control stems from being relaxed. The second that she notices that you're nervous, anticipating what she's going to do next, right, potentially not comfortable with your own sex appeal around her, this is going to kill seduction. Now, here's a fair warning. I will tell you this. In today's day and age, especially when you're dealing with younger women, okay, and this is the boat that I kind of sit in right now because me at 27, I'll be 28 next year. The women who I deal with are usually between the ages of 20 to about 24 is kind of my sweet spot. You're dealing with women who are in the cell phone generation. The cell phone generator, and here's why it's great for you. If you can spot these things, you can massively take advantage of it too, because you can win in the dating game quicker. Okay, the cell phone generation of women, a lot of them, and I know that this sounds crazy to you because a lot of women like you think are promiscuous and get so much online attention, and while that might be true, very few women in that age, even if they're very sexy, very beautiful, have ever been properly seduced. And I mean that. So what you're going to notice too is when you act this way or when you demonstrate these things, you're giving the vibe and the appearance as a man who's very confident and comfortable within his sexuality and within his masculinity. And what you're going to notice with even beautiful women, because it's so uncommon today, not a lot of women are fully comfortable with their social skills. You're getting to the point where women today are not fully comfortable in their femininity. You're getting women who have never been in that situation where they're being like seduced by a guy and in that frame. You're going to notice she might get very nervous. It might be hard for her to open up. You might even notice that her breathing is staggered. Okay, I've noticed this on dates. If the woman's breathing is staggered, chill the fuck out. Like, give her a second to like be a normal guy too. Okay, so I know that this is very nuanced, but you got to have enough social intellect and calibration to like read this woman. When I say fucking read this woman, what most guys don't understand is that women, a lot of them like know on a biological level, like this man in front of her is bigger than her, probably stronger than her, right? In a way, scary almost, because women are seduced and sexually turned on by things that are men who are bigger, stronger, and more intimidating than them. So she has to walk a fine line too. You have to make sure she's comfortable. And even if you're doing everything right, if you notice she's super nervous and apprehensive and her breathing is staggered, chill the fuck out, pull it back a little bit, right? Give her some space, let time build that comfort. Then you can go back into, the set and the date and how you were acting before. And she's going to slowly be more susceptible to re-entering that frame and being seduced by you again. Number one, you have to be relaxed. Notice how deep we're going into this topic. Number two, making a move that is not smooth. Now, this is what happens when you have guys who are very, very inexperienced, or this is also what happens when you have guys who probably are on dates that are very cookie cutter and basic. If you're doing things like a walk in the park or a coffee date, or any sort of date that doesn't involve a setting where you two like are needed to be close to each other, or you can potentially escalate, this is where this happens. Or it just happens with guys who are totally inexperienced. When you make a move that isn't smooth, here's what it looks like. The vibe isn't necessarily set yet for escalation or for like a possible sex to happen. And here's what happens. The guy will just randomly try to kiss her, or the guy will just randomly try to pull her in because he feels like, since there's been so much time on the date, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour, he feels like he should do something to show that he's willing and able to. No, that is not how you do it. What you want to do is you want to make things look and appear effortless. So, for example, if you guys are sitting on the couch watching a movie, grab a blanket, open up your arms, say, come sit with me, right? You can pull her in and she'll sit with you. Well, now she's like up on you. Like something small like that. Come sit with me. Like tell her what to do. Like lead her through it. Okay? At my house, like I'm a big fan of hot tubbing. Okay? Every single time I'm in my hot tub at night, if have hot tubbed with a girl or anything like that, if we're having drinks or we're just shooting the shit, hanging out, eventually, I'll probably, if I'm into her, I'll say, hey, come sit with me. And then you can pull her in and you can sit with her, right? Then it's like she's with you. It feels like she's with you. The move is smooth, right? So tell her what to do in the essence that you're leading her. And then when you make that move, right, you can draw her in. You can lower your vocal tone, right? You can talk a little bit softer, right? When you caress her behind the neck as you're about to kiss her, it's slow and it's an anticipation's built up. She feels inside like it's natural. These things are very important, okay? These are the things that win a woman's heart. The second turnoff is guys who make a move that is not smooth. What is the third? The third is not leading on a date, okay? I wrote this down. You need to always, and I mean always, have a plan. Women like plans, and the reason why women like plans is because leaders make plans. I don't give a fuck what type of leader it is. I don't care if it's president of the United States. I don't care if it is coach of the NFL Chicago Bears football team, right? I don't care if it's a leader of the principal of a high school. A leader makes a plan and a leader sticks to that plan. So every single time a woman comes with me on a date, I have a plan for what's going to happen. And not only do you want to have a plan to lead on the date, you need to tell her what to do, right? If you want her to come to your house for the date and you guys are going to drive together for the location, you tell her, come to my house, period. I will drive, smiley face, right? Or I will drive, right? Like, tell her what to do, right? If you say, hey, cool, I'm going to shower right now, be here at 4, or be here at between 4 and 4:15, period. Cool, now she knows what to do. Then you can say, I will drive us, or you can do whatever it is that you want to do. It doesn't matter like what you say. What matters is that you dictated the frame and the boundaries and the rules around it. That's what turns a woman on. Women like leaders. Always have a plan on the date, okay? Plan where you're going to go. Plan what you're going to do. Plan what, like, know the vibe and the setting of how it's going to be once you get there. See, that's the one thing that men don't understand is that if you want a woman to fall in love with you, or if you want just a woman to even have a good experience where she was like, damn, I like this guy and I want to keep seeing him, most men don't understand that this stuff takes proper planning, okay? And most guys want to sit there and go, well, you know, I shouldn't have to try very hard, or I shouldn't have to try to properly plan anything because that sounds like a lot of work and I should just be able to rely on who I am and she should just like me. Okay, cool. That's not how it works though. In real life as a man, a lot of the responsibility, especially in the beginning of a relationship or an interaction, is all on you. It is all on fucking you to perform. How do you make it look effortless? How do you make it look amazing? How do you make it feel natural to that woman? Well, you do it by having a plan. So now, when she comes into your house and when she comes into your frame, it all looks like the setup is very, very visually appealing, right? The mood is set, the vibe is set, the ambiance is set, right? Women like these things because the books that women read, okay, the movies that women watch, constantly are reinforcing the frame. A lot of times through media and through books and through their fantasies that of this sweet innocent woman is completely ravished in this frame of this masculine man and she doesn't do anything and she's completely just swept off her feet and she's along for his ride and he's dominant and he's daring and he's this leader and he has this plan and like it's amazing, and that's what women fantasize about. Bring her into that world. Okay? Yes, to bring a woman into that world, you will have to craft that reality. It's not that hard. Just use your fucking brain. Okay? Number 4. Not using time apart to your advantage, okay? I will say that again, not using time apart to your advantage. Use time apart and time away from the cell phone to your advantage. So I'm going to read my 2 other bullet points below this so I can elaborate at the deepest level. Most women don't want to get f***ed by multiple men, okay? This is the first bullet point you have to understand with this. Majority of women do not want to sleep with a bunch of guys. What women would prefer to do is sleep with one high-value man that they like or that they love a shitload of times. They would rather take the same pipe 100 times over from a guy that they're just completely stoked on than they ever would to just sleep with a bunch of guys. That's not how a woman works. A woman wants to have a strong gravitational pull to like one guy who's like so dominant and masculine, she can't get enough of him. So what men oftentimes do is they will feel like they have to constantly call a woman, constantly text a woman to keep her interested and to keep her engaged. That is not true. Okay? Use a day apart, 2 days apart, 3 days apart, 4 days apart maybe, to build that sexual tension so that way when she does see your name on her phone, or so that way when she does go out on a date with you, there is that true chemistry and there's that sexual tension because you don't necessarily know 100% yet if you both like each other. Now, one caveat to this. Here's the one exception to the rule. If you have women who are very shy or women who have categorized you as a player, you might have to turn that back a little bit. I will give you an example. Despite you guys thinking that it's cool that I have a following or an audience that listens to me, this YouTube channel in the past has 100% hurt my dating life. I just don't give a fuck. I will still give you guys the keys and the secrets to the game anyways, and I'll still help you guys out with women. But women will obviously look at my thumbnails, they will look at my titles, and they will look at me and go, oh, what a player. I bet you I'm just going to get taken advantage of. Because of that, I have to oftentimes dial that back and give the vibe that, hey, I'm a safe guy who's going to love and a good experience with you, okay? which means that there's sometimes where I will have to actually turn on more communication, and I'll have to make sure that she feels taken care of and she feels like I'm actually pursuing her, not just trying to get in her pants. Nevertheless, though, for most guys, they do not use time apart to their advantage, right? If you sleep with a woman, let's say, let her probably pursue back a little bit. Take 1 day, 2 day, 3 days apart maybe. See if she reaches out to you, right? You already escalated and proved that there's intimacy and there's connection here. Let her pursue you for a potential relationship. Most women don't want to get screwed by most men. So when you take her out on a date, or you guys maybe like sleep together or have sex, you don't have to feel like after that you need to constantly keep this communication going, because what's going to happen is she's going to fall off. It doesn't work like that. She's wanting to see your next move. Let that 1 day apart, 2 days apart build that sexual tension. Time apart is how women fall in love. Okay, time together is how men fall in love. If you're with a woman 24/7 all the time, you are going to love that woman. However, she's going to start to get a bit bored of you. Okay, women fall in love through time apart. So use time apart to your advantage. You rebuild that sexual tension, and then what happens is every time she sees you, it's like a little shot, a shot of happiness, a shot of dopamine, right? She gets addicted to who you are. This is important. To put a hammer into this, women care about the vibe. Women care about the sexual tension and things feeling natural. Okay, because what it shows is that even with your rational brain as a man, like numbers, money, stress, work, you're able to push all that shit to the side, lay back in your smooth, seductive vibe, and you're able to actually make her feel like a woman. And that's something majority of men can't do. And that is the reason why majority of women are completely fucking single, is because they don't like most men. And the reason why they don't like most men is because most men have no idea how to make them feel like a genuine woman when they're around him, which is why if you're able to do that, she's completely intoxicated by it and will love you for a very, very, very long time. If you like this video, hit this like button. Go down below and check out the MBT webinar so that way you can get results like all of my students. I've been doing this for the past 4.5 years. MBT has been my only proprietary process that has taken men from single and sexless to over 3,000 students that have actually now had the dating life of their dreams with masculinity tactics that'll last a lifetime, that feels natural and authentic to them. We'll see you in the next one.